Hello, welcome to Family Therapy Podcast. My name is George Chacha. This episode is a call for all men to rebel in their marriages. This is a call for all men to rebel in their marriages. Oh man, we have a divine, an economic, a political, and social responsibility to holding our family forward. Men, we have an obligation, we have a responsibility to steering families. We have a responsibility to realizing happy, peaceful families. We have a responsibility to providing serenity, peace, and tranquility in our relationships. It is an obligation. It is an automatic, natural obligation. Oh men, it is us who define the success and the failure of every family. We bear the full responsibility of dysfunctional families. We bear full responsibility of failed families. And on this one, we cannot escape the blame. Oh man, if you are that type of a man who comes home in the late hours of the night, as late as 11 p.m., as late as 12 p.m., and you come and hoot, calling on your wife to wake up and open for you the gate, this episode is for you. If you are that type of a man who has formed a new cell group, I'm not talking about Christian home cell groups. I'm talking of social cell groups out there. If you are that type of a man who belongs to numerous cell groups out there, then this episode is for you. Oh men, we have converted our lawfully wedded wives to domestic slaves. We come late in the night, hoot at the gate, and our wives in their sleepiness drag themselves out of the comfortable bed, out of the lonely, cold beds, drag their feet to the main door or the outer door, open the door, and then just walk maybe 20-30 meters away from the main door to the gate to open for us the gate. Then we enter, and even as we reverse in the parking lot, I want us all to think about what we have converted our wives into. We have converted our wives to worse situations or to worse positions than the domestic servants in the Arab world. Oh men, if you belong to those cell groups, this call is for you, and I'm calling upon you to rebel against the cell groups, to rebel against the social cell groups that we have formed out there in social places. This episode is speaking to us that we are going to form new cell groups in our own families. We are going to form new cell groups composed of our dear wives and our beloved children. That we are going to realize a new kind of cell groups. This episode calls on all men to break, dismantle, and completely exit those cell groups to form new cell groups in the houses. Oh men, we have found ourselves being like aliens in our own families. We have found ourselves insensitive to the plight of our women, who we fish out of their bed in the middle of the night, who we force to cook for us in the middle of the night, who we force to sit by our side as we eat to the end, waiting for them to return the utensils back to the kitchen. We have converted our wives into slaves. It is interesting that while all this is happening, the media is oblivious of this. The social media is oblivious of this. And all we see is that state of men who are merrymaking, enjoying themselves at the expense of their lovely, loving wives and their children. This episode is a loud call to all men to exit the social cell groups and hopefully initiate and form new family cell groups that will propel families to next level. Oh men, if we are those men who see our wives as servants, wives who should only be there to tend to our children, to tend to our goats, to our animals, to our property, to tend to our house and our property, like acting like security guards to our property, then this episode is a special call for you and me to change the way we have interacted and have lived with our families. Oh man, I speak as someone who knows precisely what it takes. I speak as someone who has been to the deepest pit but managed to come up. I speak as someone who has experienced the most traumatic moments, not because I didn't, or I rather planned for it, but because I failed to do the things that I should have done. I failed to say the things that I should have said. My ego was more important than my family. Oh man, while you wait for February 14th to come so that you may serve your wife with flowers, maybe, oh man, I call upon you on this special episode, a call on rebelling to our cell groups, to our friends. I am calling you to make a difference today to your family. That maybe today, after watching this episode, never again will sunset find you at the social cell groups. Never again will 9 o'clock news find you outside the social cell groups. Oh man, on this episode I'm calling upon all men not to necessarily serve flowers to their wives, but when you get to watch this episode, mend the fences, mend the tear that you have inflicted in the heart of your wife and your children. Mend the wound, or rather heal the wound that you have inflicted in your family. It is never too late to say sorry. It is never too late to start again. If as long as you are still together, it means there is room. It means there is a possibility of you undoing all the typing that you have made in your marriage. There is still room for you to undo all the typing that you have made in the lives, in the minds of your children. Oh man, let us rebel against our social cell groups and create for us a whole new identity of men that will take their families out of the current level to the next level. Oh man, this is a special call to all of us, that when we get home today, let us kneel before our wives and apologize to them. Oh man, this is a special call to all the men in Africa and beyond, if possible, that when we get home, may we recognize the harm, the injury, the pain that we have caused to our wives, and kneel before them and kiss their feet and tell them, oh my wife, forgive me, give me another chance. Oh man, let us rebel in our marriage, and let us rebel to the extent that from today henceforth we will do different things that hitherto we have done, and start on a new chapter, a whole new perspective, a new approach to our wives. Oh man, this is that episode that is calling on you to put aside your ego. Put aside your identity as a man. For once, start being a husband. Start being a father. For once, I call upon all men to consider transforming what they had neglected for far too long. Oh man, the gold, the silver, and the oil that our hearts, that our souls yearn for, lies in that very house that we dread. They all lie in that very house where we wish or want to spend as few hours as possible. Oh man, today, after you have heard this voice, for I speak from the bottom of my heart, I speak with the passion and I speak with emotion. Oh man, I know we can do things differently. I know we have done things that have pleased our hearts, things that have given us joy, pleasure, and satisfaction. But oh man, I draw you back to the book of Ecclesiastes, which says that he who troubles his family inherits the wind. Don't inherit the wind. Don't trouble your family. Oh man, this is a special call to all of us when we shall get to our house to humble ourselves before our wives. You may be coming from that ethnic community where a man is a small god. You may be coming from that ethnic community where a man is never challenged. You may be coming from that ethnic community where a man never apologizes to a woman. But in this episode, I'm calling and appealing to all men to rebel against their identities, to rebel against their families, to rebel against their peer groups, to rebel against their social cell groups, and create for themselves a new identity, a new kind of cut an image for yourself, an image that your family will cherish. Oh man, when finally our days are over and the curtains of our lives have been drawn, when finally there are 6 people carrying us in a casket to our grave, to lay us 6 feet under, what message shall be said about you and me? What is the eulogy that will be spoken about you and me? Oh man, we have an obligation to write our eulogy. Pardon me for that pronunciation. We have an obligation to write what shall be said about us. When finally your wife and children want to write something on your tombstone, what is it that shall be written about you? Mahatma Gandhi once said, learning means change. Oh man, oh man, we have learned, we have shared, we have fellowshipped in this episode as men. Let us rise above our ethnic identities, above our religious beliefs, above our rikas, our peer group. Let us rise above our parents, above the expectations of our parents, above the expectations of the society. Oh man, if cooking for our wives for only one day a year will make a difference, so be it. If kissing our wives' feet and apologizing and reciting all the numerous failures and occasions when we have hurt them will make a difference, so be it. The best price we can pay for our marriage strength, the best price that we can pay for our lives, peace and stability, is free. As expensive as it looks, yet it's free. It begins from this episode. Oh man, let us create a new generation of men that are men in love with their families. Let us create a new generation, a new cadre of men who will rise above male chauvinism. Let us create a new movement, a movement that will always seek to strengthen families, a movement that will always seek to protect the mental status of our wives and our children. Oh man, we have all it takes, and it only calls for only one moment. Break free from that cell group. Rebel from that cell group. If this is your first time you're watching this channel, family podcast channel, family therapy podcast channel, sorry, please subscribe to this channel. Click the like button. Click the bell so that you may constantly get updates that I will be sharing with you. Remember, I am not speaking from the scholarly perspective. I am speaking from what I have experienced from the pit 7,000 meters under. I can confidently say that I have been to hell and back. Let us engage ourselves. Let us feel free to call each other. And I want to thank all those men who have reached out to me asking me, George, this is my situation. How should I navigate around it? I want also to appreciate every single comment that many men and women have sent out to me, appreciating my presentation, appreciating my show. Please, once again, I appeal to you. If this is your first time you are watching this show and maybe you have not yet subscribed, please click the subscribe button. Click the bell button so that you may get every update that I post. Click the like button. It is with this, to do these three things that you do, that gives me strength. It gives me the spirit, the will, and even the desire to do more. Oh man, as from today, I appeal to all of us that we may sail on the words of Mahatma Gandhi, which says that learning means change. I believe you have learned a lot, just like I learned a lot from my mistakes. I did many mistakes, but I have sharpened up. Oh man, as I wind up, I want to appeal to all of us. Today, immediately once you have watched this episode, let it inject a whole new different perspective. Emancipate your wife from mental slavery, as Bob Marley sings. Emancipate your wife from the cage into which you have condemned her. Connect, reconnect with your family if you are that man who had broken the chain. Show your appreciation to your wife, to your children. Oh man. Oh man. This is our episode. This is our time. This is our generation. And our children and many other generations to come will say, yes, my father sacrificed for me. My father gave up something he treasured for me and for my family. And to the women watching this episode, all women, if there is anything significant that the women representative, your women representative could spearhead in your county, it is not so much, okay, I appreciate really what the women representatives are doing, and most especially my women rep Fatuma Muhammad, Full Network. Thank you so much for your wonderful work in Migori County. All women, ask them to do more. Ask them to engage families, forums. Ask them to sponsor such workshops where men and women will come together and end the mental slavery of the many women who have to go through sleepless night. The time or the situation of men waking up women from their sleep, the time or moment for the women to make, for men to make their women lose sleep should be a thing of the past. And as I wind up, I want to say, we have, as men, we have entire responsibility to making a difference in our marriages. To the women who have fought tirelessly to salvage and hold their marriages together, I congratulate you. One day, freedom will come knocking. One day, it shall be well. Otherwise, thank you so much. Please remember to click the like button, subscribe to this channel for your updates, and subscribe, even click the bell. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and let's continue having a dialogue. I am available. My number, my telephone number, WhatsApp number, my WhatsApp name, my WhatsApp number and my Facebook name, they are found in the video description, and you can always just have them and let us have a live discussion around this. I welcome calls, I welcome private calls, one-on-one, and I trust that we can make things better. Others, thank you so much for watching. God bless you.